Yeah, no, there's no sound.
There you go.
Do we have sound?
You'll have sound now. Let's try that.
I'm going out and going back in.
That's okay. All right, cool. I was using a microphone, and apparently that microphone does not work on YouTube Live. All right,
we've got sound.
All right, we got sound now. So everything I was saying, you guys had no idea.
They're just looking at us making thumbs up and faces.
All right. So here's the deal. We're going to build a ZV5. We're going to do this again, so everybody look. Hold on. I got to switch the camera. There's Mr. Charlie.
Right here.
Charlie wants to build a subwoofer.
This one.
This guy right here. He's going to use the old Clipo frame from Coil from, God, forever ago.
Yeah. Like 3-4 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, let's switch this camera back this way. If it'll work here. Come on. I hate technology sometimes. This shit just does not want to work the way you want it to work. There we go. All right, you guys can see my beautiful face now. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and build this woofer. Now, we went ahead and prepped a lot of things already. That way the video doesn't take forever to do. And you guys don't need to see all the little secrets that we have here at Sundown. So it went ahead and prepped everything for the most part. And we're gonna start building these woofers. Now, here's the deal. Charlie's never built a woofer. This is his first woofer he's ever built. And he wants to start off with a ZV5-18, which is a pretty advanced woofer to build, by the way, Charlie. So let's see if I can get you in here.
Shit.
Yeah, ZV5-18, kind of a bitch to build, but I went ahead and did a lot of the prep work to make it easier for us. That way we're not sitting here for 2 hours trying to build 2 woofers, all right?
I like it. I don't want to sit here.
He's going to go ahead and use the Clipo basket on his. Now, that's his personal woofer he's building. If he fucks it up, then
it's all on Bryan, because he taught me.
That's true.
It's all on you.
I'm going to go ahead and build a woofer for stock. That way we have a ZV5-18 in stock. So why not? They're both going to be what? You're getting dual 2s, right?
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and build a dual 2 as well. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on the pedestal up here. I don't know how well the camera view is going to be, so I'll have to play with the camera a little bit. But let's go ahead and play around here.
Short people problem.
Yeah.
No, don't look at that. That's all the shit that I need to be working on.
Whoa, the camera went all sorts of retarded there, didn't it?
A little bit.
Okay, let's press a button here. Why does it not want to work for me?
Well, guys, we're all going to move down here to the floor.
There we go. There we go. We're going to be more in view there.
I'm going to say, don't put the spotlight all on me.
Oh, this thing's all sorts of retarded. It just does not want to work for me. I had it working earlier. Come on, you bitch. There we go. Oh my God, this thing is just retarded. Why do things have to work when I'm actually live? Huh? I bought this thing thinking it would be awesome. And it's a pain in the dick. Nope. Hold on. We just lost like 1 million people probably.
I'm telling people to come on live and watch the destruction.
Yeah. I'm sweating my ass off too. Can you see both woofers? You can see both woofers in here.
Yep.
Can you guys hear us?
Can we get a hell yeah?
Pump up the gains.
That's for
All right,
once
so
we get it built.
You guys won't see my pretty face most of the time. You're just going to be looking at the woofers. You're going to hear me talking to Mr. Charlie over here, telling him what to do, basically. So we're going to go ahead and start working on this woofer, or these woofers. I'm going to be building here, so I'm going to basically teach him on my woofer what I got going on, and I'm going to see if I can have him replicate what I do. Remember, this is his first time building a woofer.
And I went balls deep.
and he went to the extreme on this thing. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. Bring these cameras down. All right. There you can see both. You know what we could do is we could bring them a little bit closer.
Sundown boobies.
Yeah. There we go.
The quadruple D kind.
All right, so Charlie, first things first, we got our CA glue. All right, we got enough here to do what we got to do.
All right.
We're gonna go ahead and put
A bunch of paper
towels down here, because when you wipe the glue, you want to save this a little bit, so you want to wipe on paper towel. Throw it over there. Actually, you do me a favor. On Mike's area, some gloves. Grab like a handful of gloves.
Gotta go with that finger mine.
Yeah. We all got big fingers around here, so we need some big boy gloves. All right, so this might get a little boring, folks, but basically we're building a woofer, and if you're interested in knowing how that happens, just keep watching. Gloves. All right, so what I did already, Charlie, was I went ahead. We're going to use paper shims today, and I already took my measurement on the coil.
Okay.
I'll show the people. There's a mark I put on that coil. I'm not going to tell you how I got that mark and why I put that line where it is. But basically, this is the line that we're going to use that lines up with the top plate.
Gotcha.
Okay, and basically, we're going to set the shim down inside the gap. Then the coil's going to drop down to where this line meets the top plate.
Got it.
And then we're going to take the marker, which I guess I didn't grab. Oh, here we go. Here's the marker.
About to say I can go get one.
We're going to take the marker. We're going to mark up here. That way we know up here where the top of the former touches. So anytime we go to remove or put the coil back down, we're going to know exactly where that coil needs to sit each time. And we're going to do that a couple times because we're going to have to put the do the triple joint ring and all that shit.
Yeah.
Actually, if you want over by that section, grab 2 red triple joint rings. I forgot to grab those too. I'm never prepared, folks. Just in case.
There's 3 in the thing.
Oh.
Everything else is full.
Alright, so grab your coil there. And you want to take your paper shim and put it down just like that. You can take the coil out of it. And what you want to do is, I like to take the tabs and just flip them up so they're nice and straight. Okay? And you see that line right there?
Yup.
Alright, so there's a little bit of everybody's got their own way of doing this. So what I do is I kind of just pinch it with my fingers like this. I'm going to take that coil, I'm going to slide it down, just kind of let it drop. You can take your 2 fingers and you open it up to where it starts to fall a little bit. But what you're going to do is you're going to line that mark up with the top of the top plate. What's up?
I'm heading out. I'll lock that door.
Alright.
No.
Alright. So you see how mine is? Let's see you. Perfect. Just a little tall, just a little tad. And you know, there's a window to play with, but essentially, that's you would want your mark on the line. Mine's needed to go down a little bit too. So now we're going to take our marker, and I like to do it on the opposite side of the gap. So I'll just kind of go like this. You can go all the way around if you wanted to. It really doesn't matter, as long as you have a line to play with. You gotta make sure it's on the edge as best as you can. Let's see what you got there. Yep, that's good. What I like to do, and I probably showed you the wrong way by going on the inside.
You go on the outside.
You take it right on the edge. So one thing you're going to notice the way that I build things, I have my own way of building, and all the builders here have their own way of doing things too.
Yeah.
You're going to notice I do something. You're going to notice I do something, okay? I always turn with my left hand, and you want to make sure this is centered, which mine is not.
Mine's close.
Yeah, I always spin with my left hand, and my right hand's dominant, right?
Right.
I always keep my right hand steady, no matter what it is that I'm doing. That's kind of how I work things.
Huh.
So my left hand's the one that's doing all the turning. My right hand's the one that usually stays steady.
Gotcha.
Let's go ahead and put our gloves on.
It's time for your appointment. Aw, shit. Big man hands. That's why I brought extras.
Alright. So, you know what? Let's see what kind of tools we got kicking around here. This guy. This guy. Alright, so you want to make sure that the tip of your glue is clean. Sometimes you can just...
Always make sure the tip is clean.
Yeah, you want your tip clean.
No dirty
All
tips
the
at
time.
sundown.
We're going to go ahead and pull our coil out, but keep the shim in, so just push up like that.
Oh, keep the shim in.
Yeah, keep the shim in. Makes life easier. You're going to take your triple joint ring, and you see how there's a notch right here, and there's a bevel, right?
Yep.
That notch and that bevel face just like this.
Over top of the coil.
Yeah, just like that. And you want your notch to be in line with the tabs. So it should just fall down. See you got there? Alright, cool.
Notch there, notch there.
Yep,
We're
it's just
good.
gonna fall down, alright? So now we're gonna go ahead and take our spiders. And now we're gonna seat our spiders where they need to be. So here's yours, here's mine. I already went ahead and I soldered on the leads.
Word.
That way there's just one less step we have to do. And I kind of hollowed out the inside here to make it a little easier to fit around that former because they do fit tight. So you're going to take your coil in your left hand. Again, make sure these are pulled up again. And you're going to go like this. Just give it a little wiggle until it gets over those terminals, those leads. I like to give it a little bit of a, just do a little bit of that business. Alright, so we're going to line the leads up along with the tinsel leads.
Right.
So for people that are watching, these leads get lined up with here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just push it all the way down for the most part. Alright, now when we go ahead and we drop this in here, remember we're going to be dropping the coil, the former, so the former then meets this line that we made.
Right.
And then as we're doing that, the spider is going to start rising. You want to make sure that it's flush on the spider landing.
Right.
There's nothing, because sometimes when you put this, the leads will kind of sit like retarded like that.
Yeah.
You want to make sure they're out of the way. And so we're going to push it down. It's going to push the spider up into position where it needs to be. All right. So remember, again, I like to do things where I just give this a little pinch. You see how my lead just fell in like that? I want to make sure my lead comes out. And again, you're going to make sure everything's straight with your lines here. And then we're going to go ahead and do this right here. You're doing it right. You take your two thumbs and you push it down until you see those lines. You want it to be flush with those lines.
Right about there.
The other thing that I did was our spiders are kind of big. So if you notice, I cut the edge of our spider.
Yep.
That way it's not shifting one way or the other. That way it gives us enough room to move this however we need to. And when we glue it down, that glue will come over and we can fill it all in real sexy like.
Hell yeah.
Alright, so is yours lined up where it needs to be? Alright, so is mine. Here's all you gotta do. You take a little bit of glue. You're gonna just put a small dab, just like that. I do one dab, and I usually just kind of move it with the tip. Small dab, move it with the tip. And then you want to clean it off. Do the same thing.
Small dab. Move it. Let's get a little bit more of a dab on that one.
That's more than enough. More than enough. So now we
We'll
need
see.
to
We've got the clipo basket, so I'm
So-
assuming that we will have a
you
fire.
just hit it with the accelerator, a couple sprays. That keeps it dried immediately. You know what I noticed? Yours is a different height than mine. Alright, so now that, now that we got that, we can go ahead and pull the whole thing out. I like to put my shim back in. So now we got it pulled out. You put your shim back in. You're going to take your finger and do this action right here. Go ahead and put your shim in there.
Got
Sorry,
a two-handed.
I get excited. I go fast. All right, so go ahead and move these down so they're not in the way. And we're gonna flip this whole thing upside down. We'll just kind of sit it there, however it sits.
This is the look that I hate seeing at work every day, because it means I'm about to have a lot to box.
All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and set the triple joint ring. And what you want to do, and that doesn't even matter. What you're doing right there doesn't even matter. You want to take this, you want to bring this all the way up. Sometimes you got to put it on a little bit of an angle so it doesn't fall down.
Right.
So same here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a couple sweeps of glue on this edge right here. And sometimes if I'm feeling froggy, I might take a little bit of glue and bring it up high.
Ah.
Alright, so this is how I do it. I usually spin pretty fast when I do it, but I'm going to go and do it slow. Remember, I use one hand to do the spinning, I keep my other hand stationary.
Right.
A lot of people, they'll sit here and try to do it like this, kind of like they're painting.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. You just want to have a little bit of a squeeze, just enough to where there's just a little bit coming out, and you'll find.
I can hear the internet going crazy over there.
You'll find how it flows from one way to the other. Okay.
Got it.
So, see, the people on camera can watch this. So I'm gonna go ahead and start squeezing. See how I keep my hand stationary?
Yep.
I'm gonna do one more round, and that's it. I'm gonna back off. I'm gonna clean my tip immediately. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop this down. Just let it fall. I'm gonna push it just to make sure it's down all the way. I'm gonna hit it with the accelerator. Just a couple of good squirts is all you need. Your turn.
All right. Shit.
We're just going to do one more pass. It'll give it a nice smooth look. Put that up. And you want to clean your tip.
I got it.
All right.
I'll clean my own tip, Brian. No
All right.
tip sharing.
Then you want to drop that down. And push it. And hit it with the accelerator. That's good. So we're going to do that very similar thing that we just did there, but now we're going to do it on the top ledge here.
All right.
There's a very specific look that I go for when I do this. I'll go ahead and I'll do one pass, and if my bead was really thin, I'll go ahead and do a second pass on top. Then I'm going to come around with my finger, and this is all in feel. Okay, so it's one of those things where fantastic if you get it done, if you do it right the first time, but it's probably going to look retarded. But
It's on the bottom. We don't
you
care.
are an artist, so
Don't put that pressure on me.
so when I put my glue down and I put my finger on here, remember the whole stationary thing? I keep my finger stationary and I spin. And all I'm doing is I'm kind of pressing
Against that.
against the ledge here, and it gives it this curved look. So you're going to get a bunch of glue on your finger, and you're going to take it and you're going to wipe it down right there.
Okay.
All right, so let's
Kind
see.
of like caulking.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and lay my line. So there's one pass. I want to go ahead and put another pass in there because that all went on the inside, right?
Right.
We'll do another pass. That's more than enough. All right, clean my tip. I'm going to take my finger just like I said. Takes a couple passes to make it look pretty, and then that's all the only amount of glue that came off. And I want to go ahead and I'm going to spray this down. I'm going to blow on it. And now normally I would go ahead and just do another one real quick, but I want to go ahead and let you do your first pass.
All right. Time to fuck some shit up.
And hold on, I want to teach you something here.
Teach me.
You see how you're like this?
Yeah.
When I did mine, this is just me doing it, I like to put mine literally right, almost like a 45.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of an angle, but you don't want to do it like this. So you want to be as if you're trying to squirt it inside that ledge. And you're going to go ahead and squirt and spin.
Got it. Squirt and spin.
There you go.
Squirt and spin.
Hold on, let's go ahead and pick that out. All right.
Yeah, I'm definitely going for a second pass because it looks kind of retarded.
It's okay.
It's on the bottom. We don't
You
care.
want to keep this consistent, a consistent spin. All right, go ahead and pull off.
pull out.
Get your finger in there and move that real quick. You got some gobs in there. You don't want them to fall over too much. That's good. All right. Now go ahead and clean your finger off before it starts burning. That's another thing. If you are too fat, if you're too slow about it, it will start burning your finger right through the fucking glove.
Damn.
All right. So let me see that glue real quick. I'm going to do a second pass, and I'm going to do a Jacob Fuller signature move. You ready?
Okay.
So sometimes the signature move looks stupid, but I'm going to go ahead and, for Mr. Jake's sake, we're going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do my second pass on top of this.
Oh, I need to do the activator.
Yeah, you do. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get my finger in there. This time I use my middle finger, or I use a different finger. I don't know. It's just the way I do things. So I'm going to hit this with the accelerator real quick. I'm going to blow on it because I'm going to go ahead and do one more pass, and I don't want it to dry immediately. All right, clean my tip. Now this is what Jake likes to do, and I've kind of adopted it on my own too. So you put a little bit up top here, and you take your finger and you, it's like you're painting the coil almost. There you go. You just gotta hit that with the accelerator.
So what's that? 3 total passes, and then the one up top.
Well, I did a second one on top of this, and
Right.
I do 2 usually. Again,
Okay.
just like the first one. And this was about 2 as well. It all depends on how thin or thick it comes out. It's just a looks thing, you know. So
All
go ahead and
right,
give
let
this
me
to
get-
you, and we'll clean this tip off. Gotta keep a clean tip, folks.
That you do.
Remember, try to keep it on a 45 as best as you can. And keep this consistent. It doesn't matter if you miss a spot, you just keep it going. All right, that's enough. Go ahead and get your finger in there. Start here where that big goop is. If you need to go a couple times by wiping, you can. All right, clean your finger off there. Hit that bad boy. All right, you wanted to go ahead and try the signature move?
I think we should.
Go ahead. Hold on, blow on it. Get all that air out of there. Get all that accelerated air out of there, because then you'll just end up accelerating as soon as it goes on. It'll dry like immediately.
Shit. Don't want that.
Remember, keep your spin consistent. Don't nudge it. Just, yeah, there you go. All right, now get your finger in there quick.
I'm gonna have to do another
It's
little
gonna
bit.
start burning. You want me to pretty it up for you?
Pretty it up for me, B.
All right. See
Get
if I
that
can-
bottom plate sexy.
See, I use my left hand just to kind of keep turning like that. There we go. We sexified it a little bit.
Sexify.
There we go. All right, so our triple joints are done. All right, well,
Yay.
the bottom of the triple joint is done. So the next step here is to flip these over, and we're going to glue them down. Before we do that, we want to make sure our landings are sanded down perfectly. And I've already sanded ours. However, since we've hit it with accelerator, it's kind of put a shine on it. I'm going to go ahead and grab some sandpaper. We're going to go ahead and sand this down one more time. Let me grab that sander real quick.
All right.
Now folks, if you're reconing your own woofer, you want to make sure that you sand your landings down accordingly. Now we're using like a 20 or 40 grit disc, and we just cut into quarters, and you want to put in some nice grooves in your landings, that way that your glue has something to adhere to. So you want to sand it and you want to blow it off. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take this, I'm just going to give it a nice scuff just to get some of that shine off of there.
Right.
You don't have to get it all off, just enough, you know? Just like that. That's good. We're going to keep our gloves on for this last bit here. So, before we actually put glue down, because you don't want to fuck this part up, now you want to put those up like that. Actually, if you want to make your life a little easier, go ahead and take this lead and just kind of poke it through. That way it's keeping the terminal leads out of the way.
Smart man.
We want to make sure there's no obstructions on the bottom of our spider, because it has to adhere to this. And we want to make sure that this is a nice, clean, yet sanded surface. shaven.
Nice clean shave.
All right, so let's go ahead and do a dry run.
All right.
Okay?
Dry run.
So we're gonna set our glue down. Here's the other thing. Where's that glue at? So you see all these little holes in this guy?
Mm-hmm.
We want to fill those in. So when we're laying our glue down, we're going to fill in those holes, and we're going to put a decent amount of glue on the top of this.
Right.
All right. I use a lot more glue than probably Thomas or Dave or Mike, but that's because I want to make sure my shit's 100%. Okay. So we're going to use a very generous amount of glue on the spider landing, and then we only have a few seconds to play with. You gotta have enough time to grab this. You gotta make sure your leads are lined up with your terminals.
Right.
And we're gonna drop it in just like that. And once it hits that landing, it's almost gonna be, you almost can't move it. If you have to move it, you literally have like a second or two at the most to move it once it hits that landing. And then the glue's gonna start drying. So this is what it should look like when we drop it in, but yet there's going to be obviously glue right there.
Right.
All right, you ready?
No.
This part gets a little sketchy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do mine first. We should have enough glue here. I put a lot in here. Now, as you can see, I've already filled in this layer right here with the epoxy already.
Yep.
So we don't even have to do that part. Now once we get the spider on there, we're going to fill that part in with epoxy as well. And for those of you that are watching that want to know what epoxy we use, well, we can't tell you. However, you can always use Loctite 5-minute epoxy. It works just as good. So you want to start here with this hole. Fill it in. Fill it in. Remember, it's CA, so you got to work quick with it. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start goobing it in there. Alright, cool. That'll start to fall a little bit. I'm going to make sure it tip's clean. I only have a few seconds here to work with. Make sure my shim's straight. Make sure everything's lined up, and I'm going to drop it in. Just like that. Alright. Alright, now that I'm happy where it is, I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the accelerator. I use a lot of accelerator too. And you see how I have some little holes right here? I'll go back and fill those in with some CA here in a minute.
Right, because we got to put a little bit on top.
Well, that's going to be, we're also going to put epoxy on top as well. Are you ready?
No,
Is the tip clean?
relatively.
Is the hole not jabbed up and nasty?
Doesn't look like it.
Let's make it happen.
Shit.
Squeeze it harder. Alright, now go ahead and just goob the fuck out of it, but you gotta be quick. There you go. Just squeeze it as hard as you can. Don't even worry about cleaning that tip. A little bit more. Alright, put that down. Be sure to line these up.
Oh, motherfucker.
Alright. Gotta make sure this is straight. Make sure everything's straight. Go ahead and drop her in. There we go. Make sure this is all good. Alright, go ahead and hit that.
Accelerate it.
You don't have to be fast about that part now. You got the scary part done. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this tip up here. There we go. Now a lot of times after you use a bottle for so long, see how it doesn't always clean off? Oh, it did that time. It doesn't always clean off all the way, so sometimes you got to use one of these bad boys and kind of
Get it in there.
Get it
yeah,
off.
I've had to cut a couple people's over drips over the last little bit.
make sure it's clean.
They're
So
dripping out of here.
for the
and
most
stuff.
part, we're done using the CA. I'm going to go ahead and come back on mine on some of these areas where I've got a little bit. I wasn't as generous with the glue, and I'm just going to.
Yeah, I don't see any spots for me.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit right there.
That's good. So I'm just going to kind of give it a little paint there. Pretty happy with that for the most part. All right. And if I feel like being a nice guy, I'll go ahead and smooth that out a little bit. Just make it look pretty. Even though we're going to go ahead and fill this with epoxy anyway. Alright, so the next part is we got to put these leads on the terminals. Now, again, I'm not prepared. I forgot to grab the screws, so I'm going to go over here to Dave's station. I'm going to grab his screws real quick. You should have a T-handle over by here, though.
I do have a T-handle by me.
Alright, so these guys, pretty easy to do. We're going to take that guy and a lock washer. And remember, these aren't magnetized, so they can fall off. So I kind of hold it on an angle. See if people can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and pop it in there. And I go like that. Now, what I like to do is I'll take literally my finger, I'll put it right here. You see that?
Yep.
I'll put it right there.
Kind of guide where that lead's gonna.
Because this is going to want to keep turning that way once it gets tight.
Right.
My finger's going to stop it. It's going to keep it the perfect distance. So look, I'm just going to give it a nice little tug, pull it out, and you just go like this. You just push it up as much as it'll go.
Nice.
So we gotta do that. We got 4 of them here we gotta do.
Oh hell. My fat man fingers won't help me here.
Same thing here, but I'm gonna use my thumb, kind of just guide it and make it the right thing.
Thomas would be proud right now. Fucking trains.
And sorry, folks, I have not looked at any of your comments, so I have no idea what anybody's saying. If you do not agree with how I'm teaching Charlie, well then screw you. I'm sorry, you don't work here. So, you know, a lot of sub builders, including myself, we all have our own way of building subs. Every sub builder here at Sundown has their own rhythm and they have their own way of doing things. Not one sub builder builds exactly just like the other. So we all have our own little ways of doing things. I'm just kind of teaching you my way. And if you ever become a sub builder, Charlie, you will find your own rhythm and do it your own way. I learned from Jake and Thomas and Gary when I first started building subs.
I already got it all.
Oh, okay.
I've been pre-doing it.
Let's see, we're 39 minutes in.
And 43 people?
Hey, you can see my big old gut right here.
Let's go, people. Alright, so pulling it out.
While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get the epoxy prepped up.
Pulling it out, hand tight. And at the end, flip the leads up. Like,
Yeah,
push
yeah, there
them up.
you go. Yep. Well, that's good. Yeah, you want to make sure that they're all sticking out good like that. Actually, I'm going to grab some other stuff too while you're doing that. I haven't seen any of the comments. I saw that there were some people commenting, but I don't know.
I saw somebody talking about the CA glue burns through your gloves.
Oh, it sure as hell does.
And the only thing
Actually-
I have to say to that is when I sanded this basket, I remember making like 4 or 5 passes up here and I was like, all right, this is awesome. I didn't even go like an inch on this damn CA glue and I couldn't damn breathe.
Yeah, so here's the gloves that I was wearing. You can see it actually started to burn through where my fingers were. So these gloves only hold out for so long, you know.
Let's do a little science experiment. Now that we're done with gloves, let's pour a little CA glue on the glove.
Well, thank you from Trinidad buying our products.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, you get like a big fucking screen right here.
I don't know what I'm doing, Brian. Look where my lead is.
Oh
I'm
my
screwing
goodness,
in.
look at you. I'm over here not paying attention to what you're doing. I gotta make sure you do it right. Yeah, there you go.
I'm just screwing it in. I'm pulling. I don't know if the world can know this, but Heidi helped Dave the other day, and she left a pair of leads completely off. I noticed them today.
It happens. That's a bitch to fix too.
Now she just needed to screw them back down. But Dave had to come in and help her out
Alright.
and fire her. So Heidi, if you're watching this, you've been fired by Dave.
Alright, so looks like you're nice and tight. Pulled up. Just wanna make sure all this is pulled up and good.
Because we're about to go up in there.
Alright, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna lay our epoxy down on this inside ledge.
All right.
It takes almost a whole tube to get this one thing done. So
Nice.
you want to prime this first. Squirt a little bit out,
I love the smell of latex when I pull my sweaty hands out.
just to make sure it's got a good mix before we start laying it down.
Right.
Alright, everybody's got their own way of doing it. You just want to put a nice glaze on the top. Actually, you might not use a whole one. You might use one whole one for two. Maybe. And this is self-leveling, so it's going to go ahead and just put itself right where it needs to be.
Beautiful.
Alright. If you notice again, I'm keeping my hand stationary.
Yeah.
You're gonna get this weird feeling when you have to retract. Your whole hand's gonna want to move.
Mhm.
You have to. It's like a learning thing. It's like a rhythm you have to get. Only thing moving is just this hand.
It's a learning curve on
Yeah.
your ZV518
Yeah.
that you don't have money to get another one.
Right.
So
So
it's a learning curve of you can't fail. So that's what we're going with, B. I'm not failing today.
I'm just gonna go. I'm just kind of getting the gaps there. Then you get some bubbles. Sometimes you just want to pop them. That'll do it.
That was about a
That's
whole
pretty
tube.
much the whole tube. So we're gonna go ahead and give you a new one. Keep this though, because we can still use that.
We love our tips here. Calm down.
There you go. Again, you want to prime it. There you go.
And then just squeeze and move.
Yep. Now we do have shims, you know, here at Sundown. We've got shims that we could have used. However, I wanted to show Charlie the paper way of doing it. We have to mark your paper and put the coil out accordingly.
I'm gonna go ahead and name this the Ronnie Smith way of doing it because he just likes to create a bunch of random shit.
You gotta put some more muscle into that, Charlie.
I'm trying to keep it nice and easy. I don't want to mess this thing up.
It's self-leveling. You ain't messing shit up.
No, I'm saying mess up my sub.
No.
Mess up the
Well,
purdy.
the cool thing about epoxy is if you get it where you don't want it to be, you literally take your finger and wipe it right off. It'll come right off. You got 5 minutes to play with it.
What are we gonna do? Are we gonna build a sandcastle with it?
Yeah. God, my back.
Don't even talk to me about it. Have you been picking up ZV5s all day?
Nope.
I have. That's why I earned the little bucks.
I guess I could say I graduated from that.
Yeah, apparently soon I might be graduating from it.
Yeah.
I might have an addition.
You're taking too long. It's bothering me, Charlie.
It's my first time. I don't want to rush into things, man.
You do things on the opposite angle that I do things, I've noticed. And a lot of people are like that too. I don't do things, it's like I do things backwards, but it seems to work better for me. It's like a left-handed person that likes to bat as a righty.
Yeah.
Like my son, he's left-handed, but he'll bat as a righty. Same thing with shooting a gun. He'll shoot with using his right eye as his aim eye. Ambidextrous. All right, that is good. All right, so now we've done that. You just set that over there. All right, so you wanna take you some tape. See how much I pulled off. You're gonna take a whole piece about like that. You're gonna split it in half.
All right. I'm guessing one per side.
Yep. So what we're gonna do now, and this part can get kind of funny. Remember, you just laid glue right there, so you don't want to put your. And I've done this so many times where I've put my hand right here and end up with a whole bunch of epoxy. First and foremost, take this lead and kind of just give it a little bend over there. If you want to bend it all the way around, you can. You just want to make sure they're straight up. And then you see these guys right here, they're all over the place.
Yep.
We're gonna take our tape.
We're gonna tape.
And remember, you just laid that epoxy down. This is how I do it. And if it overlaps, it's okay, you can always fix it. But you're gonna take this, you're gonna kind of go up like this. You're just gonna set it there for right now. You just want to make sure that, actually I don't like how mine's set, I'm going to reset it. But
I forgot that I had epoxy right there.
Yep. So you kind of want your piece of tape to touch the paper. So you want it to be halfway on the paper, halfway on the former. That's one thing I forgot to show you. So
You didn't even realize, but I'm half and half already.
Perfect. So you see how,
oh my God.
So I have my leads right there. I'm going to take my pick tool. I'm going to kind of hold my tape in place. I'm going to push down. Once I've pushed down, I can go ahead and lock this tape in place. Go ahead and try that. Here you go, folks. You can see what I did there. Actually, I need to do this side anyway. You want to lock your tape in place.
I'm going over to the other side like I've already taped it too.
Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing. Now you see how this is all over the place right here? I'll take my finger and I'll just kind of put them slightly where they need to be. Sometimes they go, sometimes they don't. It really just depends on the woofer. So let's see if I can show the people here.
Ooh, this one's going to be fun. It's right where the gap is in my paper.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. We'll go ahead and push down on these leads so they're all the way down. Then we're going to lock it in place. There you go. Alright, cool. So, actually,
Oh, shit.
I need to grab some more epoxy because we're going to run out. So bear with me a moment.
Well, we got comments, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns? Did I do it right so far? Does mine look better than Bryan's? What are we thinking?
Can't show people the glue we use.
Secret proprietary blend.
Yeah. Basically, I gotta pull the labeling off our epoxy so people don't see what we use. Sorry, folks. All right, let's put that down there. So the next step we have here is we got to put our cone on. We're gonna lay the glue on the top ledge here. The cone's gonna go in. Well, we got to put glue here, or epoxy here, and epoxy here.
Mm-hmm.
Then our cone goes down. Then we're gonna use our gasket to seal the cone on.
Right.
Then we gotta make sure it's pushed down all the way. What I like to do is I like to put a weight on there. So yeah, weight, and then we also need.
Do you need another weight?
I'm gonna need spacers. I got a weight over here. Let me grab some spacers real quick for that. You wanna grab your cone, get it ready, get your gasket ready.
Do we sell sundown baskets only? I'm gonna go with a hard yes on that, since we are sundown. That we would only sell sundown baskets.
So that's a yes and a no on that.
Oh, Brian says a yes and a no on the sundown baskets only.
I'll explain here in a second. That's at the final. Spacers, right?
Do we sell CA and epoxy, also coil caps?
We do not sell CA. We do not sell epoxy because it's actually we don't have the licensing to ship that product. Also, for the frame question, so sundown frames like what we're using here, yeah, we sell our own frames. But the frames that you guys see on the U series, the SA series, and the 12-spoke frames, those are actually all open tooled frames. We do sell them though. They're not. We don't own the rights to those frames,
Right.
but we sell them because our products use them. All right. So you got your cone, right?
Got my cone.
Here's your gasket. This is a bitch to do. You're gonna get glue all
Yeah,
over
gaskets
yourself.
are not fun.
All right. I like to have everything just ready. I'm gonna do a dry fit. Okay. I want to make sure that I hollowed out the hole enough. So literally just get it
That
on there.
hole. Dry fit.
Just gonna do a dry fit to make sure that it slides down where it needs to go. All right, let's see here. Make sure you didn't push your leads down. All right, go ahead and pull that back up. And we're gonna go ahead and lock these kind of into place.
Yeah, that one kind of missed it.
Make sure this is all good. Cool. All right, so we're gonna set our glue down.
We're gonna make it look like the build tables.
Where's
When they
the-
work on that one,
where's the
all the
epoxy
other
going?
cones look like this.
The epoxy gun.
Right here.
There's not a whole lot there, but there should. Well, shit, there really isn't a whole lot there.
Nope.
I'm gonna start with a fresh one. All right. Now, some companies, and we used to do this too, they'll put CA glue down here, which is nothing wrong with doing that. If you do that, you have to accelerate it. We like to use epoxy. It gives it a nice look, and it's more than strong enough, that's for sure. We have to make sure we prime this bitch.
Yup. Make sure we got a good mix.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and set my glue here. I'm gonna look how much I put down in there. Not too much, but not too little.
Good size gob.
Just enough. All right, this is where it kind of gets funny. You kind of want to give it a little squiggly.
Yeah, I've seen Dave do the squigglies.
There's every builder has their own way of doing this. You can do it this way. You can put straight lines. Essentially, you want enough glue on there.
Thanks to Kyle, I get big holes to avoid.
Yeah. Now, I have to act kind of quick, so I'm not going to give this to you. Wait till I'm done with mine 100% until we get to yours. Because there's certain steps you got to take, and you got to be quick about it. You only have 5 minutes to play with. If you look, right, I always make sure I go around that hole.
Yep, I have a bigger hole.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Kyle decided to bolt these things down.
Alright, so that's more than enough epoxy. I'm just going to set that down. I'm going to make sure the backside of my cone's not dirty.
Right.
You can use rubbing alcohol, but you have to be careful that you use too much alcohol because then it'll start to warp. So I'm just going to set it in there. And I make sure my center hole lines up with the mounting hole. Push it down. See, it moved on me, so now I gotta move the whole thing. Right?
Right.
Give it a good push. Make sure it's down where it needs to be, down there. Actually, it's seated pretty good. And then I'm gonna put my gasket on. This is a bitch to do. And some gaskets are easier than others, but essentially this is how I do it. I take my gut. I use my gut as a stop. Okay. I'm gonna find the hole on the opposite end. Open this up, line it up, and then I'm going to just do this right here. Okay, just like that. And it's going to get to the point where you can't do it anymore.
Yep.
Like it is right there. I flip the whole thing around, use my gut again. I come around and I do it the opposite way around now. You just got to stretch it out a little bit. For those that are probably freaking out, going, why aren't they using clamps? Folks, you do not need clamps when you have a fresh gasket with a fresh woofer. And see how they don't line up anymore? That's okay, because it's going to reline it. You take it back off and line it back up. So you see what I'm doing here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking my hand, I'm going underneath. I'm making sure that everything's pushed and pulled where it needs to be. Your hands will get gooey. Alright? That's
Okay.
good. And we'll make sure the center is all the way down. And on this woofer it is, we don't need the weights.
Right.
So,
I have a question for you.
yes.
My tape looks a little bit lower
Your tape?
down here.
Yeah.
Am I gonna need to reposition my tape before doing the
No.
the dropping? I know this side's good. It's that side that's a little lower.
That's why I use my little pick tool. You just take this right here.
Just pull it back.
Yeah, that's fine, just like that. Usually it doesn't matter, you can pull it up and it's not a big deal. Let's get you a new thing of epoxy. That way you have a fresh thing to work with.
I'll do a last minute check on my tensils, make sure that they're down in there. So I can get 6 inches peak to peak.
Okay, I'm gonna prime it.
And now the scary part. Time to go.
That's right, you use that force, Charlie. You gotta use all the force.
Alright,
Alright?
that one's
I
done.
do it up here. Yeah, you do it opposite of me. You're over here with it, I'm over here with it.
Yeah. See, I'm right hand dominant, but I do like my lefty.
Well, I do things retarded anyway, so.
Don't we all do everything retarded? Like, in the end of the day, you do it your way, I do it my way. John does it his way. Sally does it her way.
You
And
wanna
we're
try
all
to
a little retarded.
put a little more there. There you go. Nancy, I'm just gonna
Clean me up, make me sexy.
put right on this inside edge right here. There we go. All right, go ahead and lay that bad boy down.
Come on.
There you go. There you go.
I gotta move it just a tad.
Give it a good wiggle when you push. There you go. All right, now you're gonna push all the way down on that cone on the inside. Like literally, you can take your hands and fucking manhandle the shit out of it.
Alright.
All right. Now,
Cones
good there.
down.
Everything's centered.
Everything's centered.
Gasket time.
Use my gut.
Use your gut. All right, there you go. Flip it around. Now you got to do a little bit of a stretch action. Don't worry about if your things get out of place because you're going to go back with your fingers and put them where they need to be.
Come on. There we go.
So now take your hand. You're going to go up in here and you're going to push it out all the way around.
Just kind of pull it all the way up.
Yep. We're almost there, guys. Oh, I'm gonna grab the soldering part while you're doing that. Alright, so now that our cones are down, what I do is I'll take my pick tool and I'm going to go ahead and pull this tape off because we don't need it anymore. Alright, there we go. And remember, you see that we've got the shim in here the whole time. We do not pull the shim out until the very end when it's time to do the dust cap.
Got a little piece of the duct tape down there.
Yeah, you gotta be harder with it. You gotta be rough with it sometimes, Charlie.
Oh.
Look, let me show you.
You gotta be gentle
Get in
with
there,
it.
you just fucking give it a good
Now,
snatch.
see, you'd be gentle with it now and clip the shit out of it later.
All right.
See?
Well, we'll put this on. So go ahead and pull your leads all the way up straight, like that. All right. So this is the way I do it. Again, all builders have their own way of doing it. We're gonna go ahead and tie the leads. Okay. Some people actually tie them and twist them. I don't. I do flaps, like over. I kind of flap it over. So I'll take my lead. I use a right angle pick tool. Some people don't. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it like this, okay? I'm going to push that down as far down. See how I push that down?
Yeah.
Because you want it as far down into the crevice as you can.
Right.
And then
Gotta get it in the crack there.
I take my pick and I'll hold that lead in place. Use my finger to pull that around. And again, I'll push that back down. I'm going to come over again. So I'm just flapping them over. And you can either leave it like that and cut it and solder it and shit, or you can
fold
just
it.
take this one more step around and keep it all together. So essentially at the end of the day, you want your lead to be, you want it to be around you want the leads around the leads,
Right.
and you want it to be pushed down as far as you can and as tight as you can, because when you solder it, it's going to soak it all in together. So You can watch me do the, and I do everything like this. So this side goes to that one, that side goes that way.
Right.
That's how I do it. I'll push this down. And you have to be rough sometimes. You have to be gentle.
What if I want to be gentle?
Well, you're gonna have a rough day, Charlie.
I've already had a pretty rough day.
Yeah.
Thanks to Dave and his ZV5s.
So, see how that? See how it looks right there?
Yep.
I just kind of push everything together.
And solder the crap
And
out of
once it gets soldered, it doesn't matter how it looks because it's all going to be gooped together anyway.
and hidden by the dust cap.
Yeah. As long as you got a good connection and you're soldered, and you don't have a cold solder, you're good to go. This part is for any new woofer builder, this part right here is the part that always gets them on how to do this and do it efficiently, I guess you could say. You see I'm using a combination of the pick tool and my hand.
Oh, Courtney, I love you. I just got your text. I don't know if you're still one of the 35 watching.
Alright, so again, the combination of your hand and the pick tool just to kind of get those leads around, push down, tight. God, I'm thirsty. I'm a thirsty person, let me tell you.
We're going behind the first one, shoving it down, wrapping it around.
Can I put my face right here and make sure you're doing it right, Charlie?
Yeah, as long as you can still see.
I like to when I put my face right here.
That just reminded me of slamming.
Can you see what you're doing? Can you see what you're doing?
A little bit. I have terrible depth perception, actually.
If you need to use your fingers, you use your fingers. If you feel like you want to use these, you can use these. However you want to go ahead and do it to get those leads tied together.
It's gonna jewel into the camera.
Yeah.
This sub build was brought to you by Jewel.
That would be. We've been at it for an hour now.
All right, this motherfucker needs to turn around right there.
This is a pain in the ass part for any person. So don't beat yourself up. It doesn't look pretty. It's always a bitch. How are we looking there?
That one's done. This one's got to get looped.
Gotta get them big old dick beaters in there and move them down.
Funny you say that. I have a sticker on the toolbox of my truck. For those of you that don't have trucks, you may not understand. But when a man has a truck, that is a man's truck. You do not touch another man's truck. So I have a sticker on my toolbox that says, "Keep your dick beaters off my tools." And for the longest time, I thought my wife didn't know that I had that sticker on there. Turns out, you can't get shit past her. And if you do get it past her, it's only a matter of time before someone tells her.
I had a wife once. Did?
Way to just make that conversation die.
Wow, my package is right in view. Sorry, folks, you get to see all this gloriousness.
They really only get to appreciate it if
Jesus,
you're wearing your
Charlie.
awesome underwear.
Today, Junior.
Hey, first timer. No, we gotta go behind that fucker.
Use the actual. Let me see this real quick. When I do it, I literally you can scrape all you want in here.
Oh, I know.
Because you literally just you hold with the finger. You just kind of. You're gonna go over here. You're gonna hold again with your finger and flap it around.
That's what I was doing. I was just being gentle with it.
No gentle. You gotta be rough. You're gonna be beating the shit out of this thing. I hope.
Conservatively. For any of you wondering, it'll be on an SAE3K, 1 ohm. If I find out that I have rise like a motherfucker, I will go into different coils. And I will pull what I like to call pulling a haddock. Because I work with Derek every day, and that man just keeps going lower and lower and lower on his subs until he can get the right reactive load. But for now, 3K on a ZV5 18 in a truck, I think we'll be alright.
I'm gonna pull this in here. We're gonna start soldering. This soldering cart's pretty rough shape, but whatever. You just wanna make sure your tip's clean before you start doing shit. Everything good?
Everything's good.
Alright, so have you ever soldered before?
I have.
Perfect.
I can't say I've done it well,
Well,
but I've done it.
the cool thing about this is you can pull this in. Basically, you want to get all that shit hot,
Right.
and it's just gonna soak right in.
Oh yeah.
Okay? That's the cool thing about this.
Oh no, I've soldered before.
The more
It's
the
just-
merrier.
It may have looked like
Sometimes
shit.
you want to see here. You want to tin your tip a little bit. You're gonna get it in there. You're just gonna let it soak on, and we got this bad boy set at over 700 degrees. And you're going to use a decent amount of it too. But I don't like this soldering iron, to be honest with you. It's very loose.
Bryan likes it tight.
I do like it tight.
Tight like a tiger.
I'm not a fan of this soldering iron at all. You see how that looks right there?
That I do.
Alright, you want the model to look like that. Just feeding the solder right on in there, and it's soaking in, and it's going where it needs to go. And if you need to suggest it a little bit and persuade it in one way or the other, you can do that with the tip of your soldering iron. Alright, there's that. So I got one side done. Now to the other. I do not like this soldering iron at all. It's been used too much. It's all loosey-goosey.
Well, that, I don't know if that's a bad thing, Bryan. Because, see, it's been used and abused a lot. But that just means that the 33 people watching us and the millions watching us later, not live, it means that they don't get subs.
Oh, that's true.
And if they don't get subs, we're out of a job.
Well, this woofer that I'm building right here is for stock.
Who wants it?
So,
You can watch it get built and buy it and play it. Who
y'all
wants
motherfuckers
it?
want me to sign this bitch? Autograph session.
I mean, if you want mine on there too, we can do that. We can put a sundown after dark on there. We lost 2 viewers talking about it. I think
Yeah.
we should just go back to a stock sub.
Alright, do you want to keep this on your left, or do you want to do it on your right?
It does not matter to me.
It's up to you, however, whatever's most comfortable. Here, take that. And there you go. It's already 10 from me working on it.
Let's get down in here.
It's getting close to dust cap time. Actually, I'm gonna grab one more thing of epoxy. Oh man, I got glue on my shirt.
How's that one look, Brian? More, less?
It's almost a cold. Let me show you this. So it looks pretty good, but you want to get in there. Don't even have to have that. You want to get in there and just let it melt a little bit. Let it flow.
You get it down into
Damn,
that.
this thing is just loose.
Like
as
get it down
shit.
into that gap, kind of.
You're good on that one.
Switch it.
You just want to make sure it's hot and it flows good. Hot and flowy.
We can do hot and flowy.
By the way, this one's raspberry.
The blue raz?
Yeah, blue raz is pretty good.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
Have you done the cool mango one yet?
Yep. That one's at home. I like that one better, actually.
Really?
Yep.
I might go and get some of that. I was thinking about it the other day. So one thing you'll learn about Ian, the more you go there,
Never wrong for life.
that dude, he will suggest the hell
That's
out of
good.
some mint.
Yeah. Well, I like a menthol smoker.
But he's all about, hey, is the ice grape good? No, it's trash. Buy mint. Like, if you want flavors, come to me, I guess, just because I'll give you an honest opinion on the flavor. But Ian will sell you on some mint.
That's what she said. Yep. I don't know what. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Got to get down in there. That's what she said.
Wish I could see your guys' comments, but I'm kind of focused on what I'm doing here. Make sure Charlie gets
I'm
his
about to
first
say, I
one.
want you to get me focused. Come on, give me a little bit right there.
Yeah, soldering iron's kind of shitty, but it works.
Hey. Hi.
Oh, what happened?
What's going on?
Oh man, I was wondering what that noise was.
I heard a triple beep. I thought maybe the live stream ended, maybe the memory card was full, and I look up and y'all are just staring at my pretty face.
You know what? We're gonna go ahead and pull that off the mount there. I think the mount decided it was done. All right, we're gonna go ahead and flip this bitch around. So here's what mine looks like. So that's the solder. We just got done soldering the leads on. Next step is we're gonna go ahead and